Hallelujah.
Yes, good morning, Mechanicsville. How you doing this morning? This is Don Curtis. This is another day that the Lord has made for you and for me, that you and I might rejoice in it and be exceedingly glad. Yes, good morning to you.
He gives us grace for every assignment. So no matter what your assignment is, worship leader, God gives you grace for it. He gives you specific and deliberate grace for every assignment because he's amazing. Hallelujah.
Yes, he's amazing.
Praise the name of Jesus. Hallelujah.
Yes, to all of our listeners in the United Kingdom, good morning to you today. Yes, in London, Wegenbarrow, and other towns there in United Kingdom. Good morning to you. Yes, Algeria. We have new listeners there as well. Good morning to you.
Steadfast and true is your love toward us, daily renewed is your mercy shown us. God of all gods, you're truly amazing.
Yes, we have new listeners in the U.S. as well, in Arlington, Virginia, London, England. That's in United Kingdom, Ashburn, Virginia. Yes, good morning to you. Centerville, Maryland, good morning to you. Graysonville, Maryland as well, good morning to you. Waldorf, Maryland, good morning. Washington, D.C., good morning to you. Indianapolis, Indiana, good morning to you. On the West Coast, San Jose, good morning to you.
Come on, let's talk about his love and his grace. His an everlasting love.
Yes, good morning to those who listen to us in Spain and South Africa this morning. Yes, good morning to those in now Nigeria. Good morning to you.
Amazing.
Yes, to our listeners in New Zealand, good morning to you. Our listeners in India, good morning.
Hallelujah. Everybody sing steadfast.
Yes, he's steadfast. His love is true towards you and me. Yes, it is.
Hallelujah.
You and I can rest in him.
He's truly amazing. Make no doubt about it. He's amazing. Come on.
Yes, to our listeners in Cameroon, good morning to you.
It's an everlasting love. Your grace is sufficient for us.
Yes, down in London, Australia, good morning to you.
Situation. I dare you to declare it as an offering to him. I dare you to lift it up to him in the name of the Lord. I can hardly wait till that day when I see your face. Oh, I'm sure I'll say, I can only imagine what I'll say. Yeah, that's the God we serve. I tell you today, he is amazing. Hallelujah. Anybody know who he is tonight? Amazing. Come on, declare in the name of Jesus, you're amazing, God. Amazing. Hallelujah. He's amazing. Yes, he is. Amazing. Tell somebody, the word of the Lord says we overcome by our testimony. Tell somebody, my God is amazing.
he's amazing. Yes, he is. In every respect, there's nobody else like him. Yes, he's amazing. And I tell you, what an amazing privilege that God has given to you and to me. Yes, I tell you, the richness of this life that God has made available to all of us, to every single one of us. It's an amazing life. Jesus said, I've come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. And I'm hoping and I'm desiring and praying that every single one of us, that we are experiencing this abundant life, that we have in fact tasted, and not tasted, but we have really drunk the water that Christ has given to us. And he said, look, you'll never thirst again. And then now we'll find, he said, look, if you eat this meat that I give to you, you'll never hunger again at all. In fact, it will endure. It will last. It's everlasting drink. It's everlasting meat. Yes, it is. And I tell you, people back then didn't understand what he was talking about. In fact, they ended up killing him because they thought that he must have been demon-possessed, that he was just out beside himself, even though he was just speaking the truth. And the same can be true today. People just reject what he says, or they can embrace what he says. I tell you, I've made up my mind, and I thank God for his grace and mercy that has made it possible for me to actually do this. I've made up my mind. I'm receiving what Jesus has said. I'm taking him at his word. Yes, I am. Yes. Even when I don't feel like it, I'm still not going to let my feelings be God. I'm not going to let my emotions be God. No, sirree. No. Jesus himself, God himself, my father, my dad. And Jesus goes on in John chapter 6, and he says, look, they wanted to know how they could work the works of God. Since he refused to be their king, they wanted to forcibly make him their king because he had worked these miracles and had turned a few little loaves of bread and 2 fishes into enough to feed thousands of people. They wanted him now to be in charge. They wanted him to be their king. And he slipped away from them. That was not what his desire was. That was not his will. That was not what his purpose was all about. And so when they find him, they want to know how he got there and that sort of thing. And then they want to know, how can we do the works of God? Says, you don't want to be our king. How can we do it ourselves? And he said, this is the work of God, that you might believe on him who he has sent. And we spent a bit of time yesterday. Time goes by so fast. But yesterday, just how marvelous this is, that it takes God's work. It takes the mighty power of God to move you and me from out of unbelief into a place of belief, a place of absolute trust and reliance, persuasion about who Christ is and who God is. He said, this is the work of God. This is God at work now. Yes, bringing you out of darkness into his marvelous light. Yes, transitioning you from death to life. This is the work of God. It's more than just multiplying some food. It's more than just doing miracles, turning water into wine. That's small stuff. That's really not what God is all about. What he's really more interested in, what he's really about is faith in you, faith in me. Yes, that you and I would truly believe on him who he has sent, to really believe on Christ. And that's one of the reasons why we are responding to his invitation to come and learn about him, because we desire to know everything there is to know about him so that we might walk in that, so that it might impact every area of our life. And so they said, well, give us some sign. Yes. Verse 30 said, they said, therefore unto him, what sign showest thou then? What kind of evidence you going to give to us that we might see and believe? They didn't understand that if you can see it, physically see it, then you don't need no belief. You don't need no faith. Faith is that thing, that substance of things that are not seen. Yes. So they said, show us something we can see that because we believe on you. They said, look, what sign do you show us that we might see and believe you? What work do you do? Show us something. Do another miracle. Do something. They went on to say, our fathers did eat manna in the desert, and it is written he gave them bread from heaven to eat. They said that was the miraculous thing that took place in the desert. Of course, they forgot that they didn't believe, even though that manna was coming down every day. When they got to the promised land, got right to the front door pretty much, even after they sent spies in to validate what God had said to them, They still didn't go in, so feeding them manna from heaven didn't work. In fact, crossing the Red Sea didn't work. Having water come out of a dry rock didn't work. No, signs like that really don't work at all. Chasing after miracles don't work. They've been chasing after miracles, and they wanted more miracles. They said, look, our fathers had this miraculous food that was being given to them, bread that came down from heaven every single day. That's what our fathers had. And they forgot that their fathers didn't make it in, that their fathers perished in the wilderness. Yeah, that it didn't happen. That was not the cause of their faith. That was not the cause of their belief. Miracles didn't produce belief back then, and miracles don't produce belief now either. Jesus said unto them, truly, truly, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread that came down from heaven, but my Father gave you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. He said, you think that's what heavenly bread looks like, but that really was not bread from heaven. It just fell out of the sky, but it didn't come from heaven itself. He said the bread of God is that which cometh down from heaven and giveth life. And in fact, he said it is he. He's speaking of himself. And then they said unto him, Lord, evermore give us this bread. Yes, it sounds like the woman at the well, give me some of that water. Give me that drink. Give me that water that lasts forever, that I don't have to come back again, that will quench my thirst forever, that I won't have to thirst again. And Jesus had to tell her, just like he's telling these people here. He said, look, I am the bread of life. You're looking for a bread from heaven. Here it is. I'm standing here in front of you right now. I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger. There he goes again with that never. There he goes again with the quality of this bread, the quality of the water, the quality of the meat. He that believeth on me shall never thirst. Yes, yes. He said, I am that bread of life. Again, Jesus, just some radical teaching. It's not inside of their religious construct. It's not inside their upbringing. They never heard this before. They never had these kinds of thoughts before, but here is Christ. He'll introduce thoughts to you and to me that we've never had in our minds before. We never seen him this way before, but that's why the invitation has been given to you and to me, to come and learn about him. He said, come and learn about me. You'll find rest unto your souls. Yeah, all the unrest that's going on, all the fear and whatnot that is happening all over the place. Jesus said, look, I'll give you victory over all that if you take my yoke upon you and learn about me. If you come and really understand who I am, he says, look to these people here. He said, but I say unto you that you also have seen me and believe not. This was not the first group of people that saw him and didn't believe. He said, you also. There were some others. In fact, at that point in time, didn't nobody believe who he really was. Yes, yes. He said, look, I am the bread of life. I am he. I am the true bread that came down from heaven. Yes, here I am. Here I am. And he says, look, if you believeth on me, he said, you'll never thirst. He said, if you come to me, you'll never hunger. He said, come to me, come. Come to me, and you will never hunger. Isn't that amazing? That they were concerned about food. The whole focus was on that they had experienced this miraculous multiplication of fishes and loaves and whatnot, to the point that thousands of them were fed, were full and whatnot. There were 12 baskets taken up afterwards. They were just blown away by what Jesus did, and they wanted to be able to maintain this. They wanted to be able to have their needs taken care of, so to speak, to be able to have food taken care of. And Jesus said, look, don't labor for stuff that perishes. What you after will only last for one meal. And guess what? Later on today, you're going to be hungry again. And tomorrow you're going to be hungry. He said, you're laboring for the wrong thing. You're going after the wrong thing. He said, you need to be seeking after that meat that endureth unto everlasting life. And they didn't have any focus idea what he was talking about. And he just makes it plain and clear. Look, I am that bread of life. If you come to me, you'll never hunger again. And if you believe on me, you'll never thirst again. The basics of your survival, all of what you need is in me. He said, but I say unto you, I'm making it plain, I'm making it clear, that you also have seen me and believe not. That'd be great if God would speak that to some of us, because we really don't believe him. We've heard of him, and we might even go to church, just like I'm sure these people went to the temple on a Sabbath day, on a regular day. That was their tradition. That was their habit. They wouldn't think anything else to do but do that. And they would also refrain from any kind of labor, any kind of work on the Sabbath day. Remember, Jesus was accused of healing this guy on the Sabbath day. They were accusing him of working, accusing this man of picking up his bed and walking with it. So they were very religiously staunch and whatnot. But they didn't know who Jesus was. And he said, I'm going to tell you right now that you see me, but you believe not. You don't know who I really am. Your knowledge of me is very surface, very shallow. It hasn't really gotten deep to the point where you have actually come to me and where you've actually believed on me. All that the Father has given to me shall come to me. And he that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out. Hey, he's bringing his Father into the picture again, because he knows that everything that happens is his Father's doing. Yes. All that the Father has given me shall come to me. I'm so glad I've came to Christ. And if you've come to Christ and you have great joy because you know that the reason why you have come to Christ is because the Father has given you to him. You belong to him. I belong to him. There came a time in my life when I didn't have any choice, really. I really didn't have a choice to make. The choice had already been made. I'd already been given to Christ. I was already his. I was on his list. I couldn't help myself. It was going to happen. It had to happen. Because all that the Father had given me shall come to me. That's what Jesus said, and I'm evidence of it, and you're evidence of it. There's all kinds of people all around this world whose evidence is of this, that God was the one that drew them. The Father's the one that caused them to come to Christ. It wasn't a decision that they made. It was a decision that he made. Yes. So you came. I came. And others shall come. There are people who are coming today. It might be you. This might be your day when you come out of your religious tradition and whatnot and come to the reality of who Christ is. This might be your day when the Father calls you, when you come to him. And he said, he that comes to me, I will in no wise cast out. He's not going to put you out. You can't walk out either. You didn't walk in, you can't walk out. He chose you, so you can't dischoose yourself. You can't unchoose yourself. You've been chosen by him. I love this. I love this radical teaching that Jesus teaches. It's the foundation of a lot of what I embrace and what I believe, just reading what he reveals and what he says about him and about his Father. And it concerns me, it concerns you as well. All that the Father gives to me shall come to me, and and him that cometh to me I will in no wise cast out, under no condition. And the reason why, he says, for I came down from heaven, this is the bread of life, not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me. Jesus said, I'm here not for my own purpose. I'm not doing my own thing. I'm not living my life. Yeah, I'm here for one purpose. I'm here to do the will of him that sent me. Yes, I'm here to do my Father's will. I've got to be about my Father's business. Remember, he told that to Mary and Joseph when he was 12 years old. And it hasn't changed. He's still about his Father's business. For a while, his Father's business was being subject to Mary and Joseph. So he went back down to Jerusalem with them, back to Nazareth with them, and he was subject to them for the next 18 years. But now the next phase of this, his Father's will, is what he's doing right now. Yes. He said, now, this is my Father's will. This is the Father's will which has sent me, that of all which he has given me, I should lose nothing. I like that. But shall raise it up again at the last day. Yeah. I love that. Yeah, because my salvation is not based on anything I do. My salvation rests in what he has done and what he shall do. My salvation is based on Christ himself. It's not based on me. It's not me getting it right. It's not me being faithful. It's him being faithful. And his faithfulness is manifest in me. Yes. And in you. And in whosoever. Every single one of the Father is given to him. Guess what? He says he shall come to me. I'm not worried about who's going to come, who's not going to come. He said, I'm not worried about that. I don't have to tailor my message to a certain group of people. I don't have to water it down. I don't have to compromise. I just speak the truth, Jesus is saying. He said, I am the truth. I said, I'm the bread of life that come down from heaven. And I'm convinced I know what's going to happen. I know that all that the Father has given me, every single one of them going to come to me. It's going to happen. No doubt about it. And he says, and he that cometh to me, I will in no wise cast out. There'll be confidence. There'll be absolutely persuasion that he which have begun a good work in you will complete it until the day of Christ. It has nothing to do about what you do. It has everything to do with what Christ has done and what he is doing. That's why it's so important for you and I to know, well, what has he done and what is he doing? Rather than being so much concerned about what you're doing and what you shall do. What's your goal? What's your purpose? What you want to achieve? We ain't got nothing to do with you. You can't add one day to your life. It's all about him. It's all about him. And this is his Father's will. He said, this is my daddy's will. That the one that has sent me, that of all which he has given to me, I should lose nothing. I ain't going to be lost. There's no way I can be lost. Absolutely impossible. Why? Because of this agreement that Jesus has with his daddy. He's the one who's responsible for me. He's responsible for keeping me. Yes, and he's responsible for raising me up. Not only that, shall I not lose any, but shall raise it up again at the last day. That's his Father's will. I'm so glad to know it, because now I can rest in Christ. I can enter into the rest of God, the peace of God that passes all understanding. Because it's not based on me. I'm not trying to perform. I'm not trying to make it in. I'm not trying to make sure my good works outweigh my bad works. No, I'm not even worried about that at all. Used to be. But then when I found out what Christ has done for me and what his job is and what he's doing for me, I begin to rest in him. My whole relationship with him changed. Yeah. Because now I see who he really is. When he says, Don, I am your life, I can rest in that, because this life that's in me is designed to keep me, to rescue me, to keep me safe, to raise me up on that last day. Yes. There's no questions now about my resurrection. There's no question at all. I hope there's no question about yours. I hope you've gotten persuaded as well. I hope you're seeing that it has nothing to do with you. God doesn't start this thing and then hand it over to you. This is not a marathon where he does the first leg and then hands the baton over to you and say, all right, now, Don, you got to go ahead and finish it. No, it's not like that at all. I'm so glad for Jesus. I'm so glad he opens up his mouth and he teaches. I'm so glad he makes it plain. He makes it clear. He says, I am the bread of life that cometh down. And if you eat of me, you'll never hunger. You believe on me, you'll never thirst. This is the Father's will. This is his will that has sent me. Jesus knows what it is. He's clear-minded about it. He's focused on it. He knows exactly why he's here. Yeah. That I should lose nothing. Nobody. 99.5 just won't do. That's why he says, look, I'm the good shepherd. He'll talk about that later on. I'll leave 99 of my sheep in the wilderness, go looking for that one that's lost. Why? Because I should lose nothing. I'm so glad about that. So if I happen to be that one lost sheep, if everybody else is safe and secure and I'm the stupid one out in the wilderness somewhere that's gotten lost somewhere, You know what gives rest and peace to my soul and my heart? That if I happen to be that one sheep that's lost somewhere, Jesus tells me, look, I'm the good shepherd. I come looking for you. And guess what? I don't look for a few days and then give up. I keep on looking until I find you. And when I find you, I bring you back and I say, hey, let's celebrate. Because the one that was lost has been found. Yes. That gives me great comfort. And I believe it'll give you great comfort as well, great peace. Because if you happen to be that one that's lost, if everybody else is safely secured with the shepherd and you happen to be stupid enough like me and be wandering around and be way out in left field somewhere, what a comfort it is to you, what a joy it is to you, what a peace it is to you to know that Jesus is the good shepherd. And he describes what he is. He says, I come looking for you. I leave the 99 and go looking for the one that's lost. And if you happen to be that one, guess what? The good shepherd is coming for you because he already know that you're not smart enough to find your way back. He knows that I've got to go get you. I've got to come find you. And guess what? He will find you. Why is that? Because he has this passion of his life that he should lose none. He knows what his Father's will is. And you know something that really brings me great joy? Jesus will never disappoint his Father. Jesus will never fail. Jesus will never come short. And his failure and his coming short involves you and me personally. That if you happen to be that one that's way out there in left field somewhere, he comes looking for you. He comes looking for you. And he looks and he looks and he searches until he finds you. And when he finds you, he doesn't rebuke you. He doesn't scold you at all. He lifts you up and puts you on his shoulders. And he carries you back all by himself back to the fold. Yes, he does. He doesn't make an example of you. He doesn't chastise you. He doesn't he doesn't do anything. He doesn't judge you. He doesn't do that. He just rescues you. And he brings you back. That's what he does. That's what he does. That's what brings me peace. That's what brings me joy. That's what gives me persuasion about my salvation. It helps me to be able to discern all this lies that's out there and all the deception about you losing it. And somehow or another, you've got to retain it. You've got to rededicate. You've got to rededicate. You've got to rededicate. You've got to dedicate. You've got to do this. You've got to do that. You've got to be prayed up. You've got to do all this stuff. And I'm saying, wait a minute, where's Christ at? If you're doing all the work, where's Christ at? If it's left up to you, what's he doing? Have you read what he said? He said, look, this is my Father's will that all that he has given me, I should lose nothing. It's on him. He said, this is my Father. That's why I'm here. I'm here to deal with this once and for all. I'm here to give you life and have it more abundantly. I'm here to be the bread of life. I'm here to be that water that quenches your thirst. I love this. He said, look, he that believeth on me, guess what? He'll never thirst. There's no thirsty. There's no hunger.
Hallelujah.
Yeah, hallelujah is right. Yes, indeedy. All that he has given me, I should lose nothing. And you know what nothing is? Nothing is nothing. So if you get lost in this wilderness,
says in Lamentations 3:21,
then he ain't done his Father's will. This is what gives me joy. This is what gives me peace.
He gives us grace.
This is what gives me rest. This is the grace of God. God at work on your behalf. God doing for Christ what only he can do. What you can never do, which is impossible for you to do. He does it all.
Hallelujah.
So he which begun a good work in you, guess what? He will perform it. He'll complete it until the day of his Son, Jesus Christ. He will do it. Yes, he will. It's amazing. This is amazing gospel. You may not have heard it like this before, but this is true gospel. It's God's gospel. It's about his Son, Jesus Christ. And it concerns you and me, every single one of us.
Steadfast and true is your love toward us, daily renewed is your mercy shown us. God God of all gods. You're truly amazing. Amazing. When you get it, release it to the Lord. Stand fast.
Steadfast and true.
Is your love
Is your
toward
love toward us
daily renewed.
daily renewed?
Hallelujah.
Is your mercy shown us?
God of
God of all gods.
truly amazing.
Truly amazing.
That's who he is. You declare it. Amazing.
Amazing.
Come on, let's talk about his love and his grace.
Oh, your love
It's an everlasting love.
is everlasting love.
Yes. It's sufficient.
Sufficient for us.
And it's truth.
Your truth
It leads us straight to freedom.
leads us to freedom.
Amazing.
Amazing.
That's who the Lord is. Come on, let's declare it together.
Amazing.
Hallelujah. Everybody sing steadfast.
Steadfast and true.
Is your love toward us.
Your love toward
Daily
us
renewed.
daily renewed.
Hallelujah.
Your mercy shown
He's the God of all gods.
God of all gods.
He's truly amazing.
Be amazing.
Make no doubt about it. He's amazing. Come on.
Amazing.
Hallelujah. Oh, your love is an everlasting love.
Everlasting love.
Your grace is sufficient for us. Your truth leads us to freedom.
Leads us to freedom.
Oh, your love
Oh,
is an everlasting love.
everlasting love.
Your grace is sufficient for us.
Sufficient for us.
And your truth, it leads us to freedom. Hallelujah. Amazing. He's a mighty God. He's a great King above all kings. Is anybody's testimony that God's grace is sufficient for every situation? I dare you to declare it as an offering to him. I dare you to lift it up to him in the name of the Lord.
Yes, don't forget to pray for your community, pray for your neighborhood. Yeah, pray for your next door neighbor. Yeah, pray for those that are on your street and whatnot. You say, what should I pray for? Well, give God thanks and praise for them. Just give God thanks and the fact that he loves them. Yes, that you might be always ready to give an answer for the hope that lies on the inside of you. So you might be able to share the love of God because you know it. You can share it with somebody else. Right there in your neighborhood, yes.
That's the God we serve.
Yeah, right there on your job, yes. Your co-workers, those that you supervise, those that supervise you, and those that you meet in the lunchroom, in the cafeteria, yes, on your way to work, the carpool and whatnot.
Hallelujah.
Yes, just give God thanks and praise for them, yes.
Tell somebody, the word of the Lord says we overcome by our testimony. Tell somebody, my God is amazing. He's strong and mighty. He's faithful and true.
Amazing.
Hallelujah to Jesus. And we celebrate him